Well, good afternoon, brothers and sisters of the hook. Salty Kayak here on a mission of repair. And I'm going to bring you guys along, and gals, and I'm going to show you how to keep your trolling motor turning head housing, I guess that's what this is called, from going bad. And it will. I promise you, if you're in salt water, it's gonna go bad. This is my third trolling motor head assembly that I am replacing. The third one. This was the first. It locked up. It was grinding for a while and then it just locked up. So I bought this one. This one worked for probably 18 months. Now I've had water over the bow several times and everything got soaked. Just can't help it. My boat's kind of low in the water and I go offshore. But it gets soaked. And even though there is, please excuse my mess because I got a lot of projects going on here and I know what's going on. There is a gasket on this trolling motor housing, turning head, all the way around, a gasket, and there's some sort of a sponge-like thing right here. I don't know if that works for anything or not. It just might let water in. It's got a couple holes here. But I promise you, when you start hearing your trolling motor grinding, it's time to take action. This is actually the first one that I've been able to get apart. Excuse my dogs. I've got dachshunds and they just bark a lot. And when I took this apart, I was just astounded. I mean, totally astounded by the amount of corrosion that was in here. And I had, no lie, chunks of salt that big. Corroded salt this big in here. And I've already picked out a great amount of it. But I'm sure I can get some more out for you. See there? Look at that. Look at this. See that? Look at that. Yes, and that's in a sealed unit. See there? Look at that. And I've already cleaned this out once. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and I hope recover this one and this one once I get it apart. I'll show you how to get them apart. And this one that I can get apart a lot easier if it ever goes bad, and I'm hoping it will not because I can show you what's going on. This is the brain right here, and as you can see, it is all corroded and rusted, and it is right on its last legs of dying. Let me get rid of this mess. Okay. It's on its last legs of dying. This is the motor that does the magic, that turns the head this way and that way. Only two wires going in. See, only two wires, black and white. Fits in this little slot right here. See that? Goes right down in there. And there's a little, see that there? Little slot or little groove there. It fits down in the slot right like that. And you can hook it up. I got this thing running. Look at there, see that? And the other end of the motor hooks into here, sits in there, right there, when you put it together, okay? And you saw it going that way. You can tell I got my shop in my man cave in the house. Now it's going the opposite way. See there? You hear it? It's grinding like crazy. This motor is on its last legs, and I just barely got it going today again. Because look at all that rust and corrosion. Look at that. That's amazing. And that's nice and shiny when you get it fresh. And I've got a brand new one coming, $27 from, I guess, Northland Marine, I think it is. Northland Marine. I got the receipt somewhere. That's where I've got these last three. They're brand new. They're brand new. They're not rebuilt. They're brand new heads. $103 and I don't know, $13 to get it shipped here. So, you know, there's always something going on with a boat and a motor. Anyway, I've got a replacement, so I can fix this one and have it ready in case one of these other ones go bad. Just change them out real quick. Okay, let me gather myself together here, and I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, I am going to set this one aside. Put that little slot into that groove right down there. There we go. We'll set this one aside for now until I get the new motor in, at which time I will show you what I'm going to do. But for now, here's what I'm going to do. This is the brand new one. What's going to happen, I think I can show you what will happen if you what? Did I throw them all away? I hope not. I think I might have. Okay. Yes, I did. All right. Got it. What's going to happen is when you unscrew these, all of these, you try to unscrew them, they're going to break. They're going to break right about there. Right about there. And you're just going to have the nub left. And down inside of that hole right there, and down inside of that hole right there, and one of these other ones, that one right there, there is nothing but the nub down in there, and I can't drill it out. I'm not that good. I can't drill it out and then tap it out. Salt water has gotten down in there and corroded these screws tight. I mean, and you put your little star down there to take them out, pop, they'll snap right there. Right there. So, they'll come out, just this little piece, but the rest of it stays inside there. So, what I'm going to do on this brand new one, I'm going to put anti-seize lubricant. I'm going to soak this in it, and I'm going to put these back in there one at a time. I'm only going to take them out. I took two out, and I was only going to take one out, then put anti-seize on it, and then put it back. Then this one out, put anti-seize on it, put it back. And I'm going to record what I'm doing so that I can keep the warranty, because they're good for a year. They're warranted for a year. But, and I know salt water is going to get inside here. That's all there is to it. I don't know if it gets in through here or in through here, because this is not very tight for some reason. I might seal that. But there's a little breather or something right in there. And what I might do, and I'm thinking seriously about it, lots of space in here, lots of open space. See all that open space? As long as it doesn't screw up this, and I don't think it will. Lots of open space in here too. Okay. I'm going to take some of this marine grease, a lot of it, and I'm going to pack it in here. Pack it all around here. I might drill a hole and put a grease nipple in here somewhere. You know, I'll have to determine exactly where it's not going to interfere with anything. Maybe here. Maybe here. Pack it full of grease. Just pack it full of grease when the screws are all in there, and test it out. I'm pretty sure it's going to work just fine. But that's how I'm going to make it last forever. I'm tired of buying these things. And, you know, when I go to sell my boat, I'll have these extra heads that can go with the trolling motor, GPS trolling motor. And I'm going to, in a year or two, I plan on selling this boat because I'm just getting kind of up there in age. All right, let's grease these up and these anti-seize these bolts up and put them back in here. Okay. All right. Okay. Now these came out real easy, so I'm not going to put them in real hard. That'll do for that one. and that one. Okay, and we'll take this one out. And we'll take this one out next. All right. Now, after I put this anti-seize on the threads, I'm going to pack each one of these holes with marine grease. Because I know that water is still going to try to seep down in there. Salt water is still going to seep down in there and soak into inside the housing and get into these gears. These gears are nothing but plastic. Okay, you might be able to get this apart better, this apart separated better by heating with a torch where you see the holes. See, that was broken off right there. This was broken off right here. This one's broken off. This one's still in there. But hit a torch here, get it real hot, and maybe melt some of that salt corrosion that's in there. There and there. You might be able to get these screws out, but I doubt it. I really doubt it. They're going to break on you. That's all there is to it. All right, let me go ahead and anti-seize up the rest of these screws. Okay, this is my last one. This is my last one. And my wife's in there hollering about the Carolina Panthers. That's our favorite team since my son works for the Panthers, but right now he is on a mission trip in Costa Rica. Maybe Costa Rica. Helping those. There we go. Helping those folks get back their lives from the hurricane. Anyway, now this is ready. This is done. I got all these screws in there. Now I'll be putting this on. This is the brand new one. I'll be putting this on tomorrow. Testing it out. Okay. This is for the 80 foot-pound and the 70 foot-pound GPS trolling motors from Minn Kota. Okay. Well, yesterday I got in the new motor for the trolling motor turning head. Doggone it. The trolling motor turning head. Okay. Took the old one out. This is it. Look at that all rusty thing. Now that was on the inside. See if I can get this back in there the way I want it. Okay. I think that's it. Let me test it out. Make sure I got it in there right. Looks like it. Okay. But this still works for some reason, somehow. But it's obvious it's on its last legs because it was grinding and moaning and groaning and locking up when I had it inside here. I greased up each end, oiled each end, and so I'm going to keep it as backup. Hope it works. Then I'm going to take this grease, we'll pack it in here, pack it in here, pack it in here, pack it in there, drop this on here. I might try to do something about these contacts. I don't like those contacts sitting up there like that. Don't want them to short out, so I might cover these contacts. We'll see. Pack it with grease, put this all back together, and this is going to be my spare. And once I get started, I'll show y'all. Okay, what I have discovered, I've got some taps. I was going to tap a hole in the side of the housing and put a grease nipple in there but my taps are metric and don't feel like spending the money to get metric grease nipples. So I'm going to just pack this with grease, seal it together. I'm going to use this to dig this grease out initially, and then I'll use my popsicle sticks, pack it in there in the corners and everything. I'm going to take this motor out first. Put some grease on this to keep it from slipping back and forth. It's already got a little bit of grease on it. Yeah, get that grease down in there. Now this is all an experiment. I mean, I'm not going to lose anything if it doesn't work. But if it does work, I'm going to save you guys a lot of money. Instead of having to buy all these, this is my third one of these that I've bought. And you shouldn't have to buy 3. I mean, they should be last as long as the machine lasts. There's a little groove in here. Something's not right yet. Something's just not right yet. Okay, before I get messy, turn this off. Let me make sure I got this thing in there now. Yep. Okay, let me explain what happened. On your new motor, this little piece of plastic here can come off, and you can put it 2 different ways, because I want the wiring to go as short as possible down in here, and I'm going to seal this off with some silicone. Anyway, this little piece of white plastic has a little slot device in it here. You can go on backwards or on 180 degrees wrong for these wires to go out the shortest distance. So I just had to take it off and move this around and put it back on, and now it's in there right. Okay, time to start packing. Okay, this is where I am so far. I'll give this a test in a minute. Don't need to be in a hurry. This is a spare. If it works, it's a spare. If it doesn't, I don't care. I've got another thing of grease over there. So I got plenty of grease. In a minute, I'm going to just test it to see what the if it bogs down or not. I hope it doesn't. And I'm not going to pack it full of grease. I'm just going to make it so that if any salt water gets in there, and it will, it's not going to affect anything. It's just going to be rolling around in there. I'm glad my wife lets me do this in the house. Good to have a wife like that. Of course, the man cave is off limits. It's rare that I let anybody in the man cave that's not a man. All right. Seems to go slower, but I don't care if it goes slower. Let's reverse. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, I've already made some changes. This grease is so heavy and so thick that I've lubricated all the inside of the top of the housing. And I'm going to take some of this grease back out because it's coating everything. That's all that's needed. I don't need to pack it. Don't need things to slow down too much. I mean, they can go slow. That's fine. I want that turning head to be able to turn without putting the bogging down on that little motor, even though it's brand new. Don't want to bog down that little motor. Wow. Still got salt residue in there. Salt residue. No, that's good. Well, I'm going to give this a little bit of a tap. Start to get it back down into position. Getting there. All right, let's see if this thing works. Haven't put any screws in yet. Look at there. That's all the faster it needs to go. I'm not sure if you can get a thinner grease. It's in reverse. Guess what, folks? That's working. That's working. Now I'll go ahead and tap this down a little bit tighter. Then make sure everything's still working, and then we'll put 3 screws in there. That's all I've got. It's just 3 screws that'll go in here because the rest have been broke off inside and I can't tap it out. Okay. This screw here came out of my other old unit over there that I cannot get apart. And the reason is because there's threads all the way down. And when the head breaks off, everything is still locked together. These came from this unit, of which several broke off, but they broke off down there by the threads in the bottom, right there. So, and 3 of these came out okay. So I'm going to put 4 screws back in, but I'm going to put anti-seize on them. Put 4 screws back in at 4 corners, and that'll hold it down just fine and dandy. I need to get some paint, scrape all this off, paint this white again, make it look a little better. But let me go ahead and anti-seize my bolts, and I'll put them in, and then we'll give it one final test before we put it away for a rainy day. Okay, I'm just about done. You can see where I have a bead of grease coming all the way around for a good tight seal, so no salt water is going to get in there. Plus I've sealed all the holes, even with the ones with the screws in them, with this marine grease. So no salt water is going to get in there. Only place salt water can get in is around here. There's a gasket in there, but it doesn't work all that well. But I mean, I have not packed it tight. If I could have gotten some thinner, I don't know anything about marine grease, but if I could have gotten some thinner marine grease, I probably would have used that so that everything would turn a little more freely. See, it's turning. turning to the right, turning to the left, and this is my backup, so I won't have to buy another one of these blasted things for $110, $13, something like that. And bend down. Okay. Now, I am not a professional at this. All your complaints, keep them to yourself. This is my first attempt at doing something like this, and the daggum thing worked, man. It worked. I need to clean this up. Put some more white paint on here. Put her in storage.